How's it going? So I have a few projects I'm working on. Just trying to finish these up. I was on earlier just on YouTube and Facebook. But tonight it's just going to be a late night drawing session, I guess. So just want to get some stuff done. I have this drawing. It's Jeremiah Burroughs. So if you have any questions or comments, just throw them in the chat. I'm gonna be I'll probably end up just talking to myself. So feel free to join in the discussion if I'm having a discussion. Man, I typically do these like I'm trying to be very conscious, what's the word? Conscious. I'm trying to be very conscious of not going overboard on the detail with this one. I tend to go way overboard with detail and ends up just like making the whole drawing a disaster. So the more detail is not always the better. It really depends on the style that you're doing. And with this one, I'm not doing a background, keeping it just simple, just the character, because the story is told through him and this newspaper. And the word balloons, of course. And what are word balloons? But boxes with the story contained in them. I don't know. I just made that up. Oh, well. Here we go. This cloud, I've used this cloud, I don't know, three other times. Maybe two other times. It's just a very sad cloud. Nothing more sad than a rain cloud, unless you like rain. I have him right there, so I need to use him to get my colors from. Beep, 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 beep. Go up here. Beep, 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 beep. Let's go up here. I'm using Affinity Designer. I was for a long time using Affinity Photo. But for some reason, like they're the same. I assume they should have the same brush engine in them. But for some reason, the brushes work differently in Designer, in the pixel mode, than they do in Affinity Photo. And it blows my mind because I have a love-hate relationship with this program. I love it because it's cheap, inexpensive, but in being inexpensive, it's cheap. They don't... I don't know. It's a good program. It's a good suite of programs, I should say, because I use all three of them. Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, and Affinity Publisher. But Something about the brush engine in this one is a lot better than the brush engine in Affinity Photo. For some reason in Photo my lines look all choppy all the time, and there's this specific thing that happens when you're drawing with one of the brushes. I'll show you in a little bit. That when you make your stroke and then you lift your pen off the screen, the end tail is not very smooth. It's like I don't know. It's like a hot dog with a skewer sticking out of it or something. I don't know. I have hot dogs on the brain. I'm hungry. Stephanie mentioned brats earlier, and now I want a brat. So yeah, this is like the most boring part of drawing these, is going through and laying in the flat colors. In comics, there's usually a different person for each job. One person pencils, one person inks, one person colors. At least at the big box comic places. I call them that's pretty much what they are. Marvel and DC are the equivalent of Walmart and Best Buy. They have become the big box stores of the comics industry. Trying to put the mom and pop stores out of business, which would be the independent comic book artists. But they've all gone to the dark side. Wow. Is it almost 100 years? Oh, that DC has been making comics. Did they start in the 30s? Excuse me. $100 years and they've gone completely nuts. There, I'm just gonna make all these guys one color for now, and then I'm gonna add in the other colors later. Just gonna follow the lines, I want my lasso lines to be inside the outside edge of all of these. So inside, like in the middle there, because I want overlap for the color. Just because you get these weird halo effects if you're just going to use the paint bucket tool on an area. It'll only fill right up to that black line, and in between the color and the black line it'll leave like this halo, this white-ish halo effect going in there. But yeah, I don't know. Trying to find. So, one thing, like going live on like streaming, live drawing, it really pushes me to think about things to talk about, or even just pushes me to talk I don't normally talk. I'm not a person that normally talks, but I have enjoyed live streaming because it pushes me to get out of my comfort zone. And so I've enjoyed it. Even if nobody watches, I count it as good practice. And I don't know why people would watch. I mean, all I'm doing is drawing. But I like to look back and see like when I drew certain things. I like to have a kind of a record of what I've drawn. And live streaming is a good way to do that. Especially with the next project I'm going to be working on, which is John Calvin's Institutes in graphic novel form. I'm really excited about that, but I really have to get going on it because there's a lot to do. So as soon as I get the colors in on this comic, this new RefToon, I'm going to switch over to the John Calvin comic and work on that because that has to be done. I have to create a schedule for myself because it's going to be 4 volumes. I have to get the first volume done by 2024, and then so on. So each one I'm scheduling out a year to create, from sketch to final colored pages and laid out book. And I'm doing all of this for a publisher. Working with a publisher, working with another author on this who's condensing the work down into a workable comic script, which has been super helpful. He's doing a great job on that, and I'm excited just to get to work on this project. It's been kind of a dream project for me ever since I started delving into Reformed theology. So I'm pretty excited about working on that. So I typically listen to audiobooks when I'm working, but it's kind of impossible to listen to audiobooks when I'm streaming. A little thing called copyright infringement. Although I see like all kinds of like YouTube channels that are like reading entire books that are not in the public domain, and I just wonder how they get past all the copyright laws. Or maybe the people whose books they're reading don't care. So I don't know, maybe they consider it free promotion. I would. If I was a publisher, I would encourage people to read the books online, and it's basically free advertising. They're getting the book out for you. So there we go. Just like random. Let's see. I'm not good at talking. I just randomly talk about random things. Oh well. I have an eye appointment coming up. Looking forward to that. I'm going to talk to them about possibly getting contacts. And I have only one reason for requesting contacts. A few years ago, one of my clients sent me a pair of colorblind sunglasses. But I wear glasses, and I can't really see without my glasses. So it kind of defeats the purpose of having colorblind sunglasses, that you have to take off your glasses in order to put those glasses on, because they're not prescription. So I'm going to talk to my eye doctor about getting contacts. I had contacts a long time ago when I was in high school, but they were not like disposable ones, so I reused the same ones over and over and over again until I got a new prescription. So each time I would just use the same pair of contacts over and over again. But at one point in my senior year in high school, I accidentally washed them down the drain because I forgot that I didn't have them in my eyes yet. And I just took the little cup that they come in, and it was morning. I was getting ready to go to school. I took that little cup, I unscrewed the caps, and then I just mindlessly turned on the water faucet, put those little cups under the water, and just rinsed them out as if I was just rinsing them out. And then as soon as I did that, I was like, looked in the mirror, looked in my eyes, and I realized I didn't have my contacts in. So luckily I had a pair of glasses that I could wear. But that was the end of my contacts, and that was the last time I ever wore contacts. So it's been about 20 years since I've worn contacts. That's right, because my 20-year high school reunion was this year. Last year, not this year. 2022. Graduated in 2002. Graduated. Surprised I graduated. I was not a good student. Sometimes I think I just wasn't made for school. And I am glad that it is done. But now we homeschool, so. Now I'm the teacher. Well, one of the teachers. I like the lines like this that pass through the other lines. It makes it more handmade looking. Not handmade as in like the Handmaid's Tale, but handmade, handcrafted. Handcrafted by the artist, and you can see the lines, you can see the strokes. That's what I like about paintings. You can see the brushwork, you can see the lines from the hairs on the brush, and that is part of what I like about original art, is the tactile nature of it. You don't get that very much with digital art like this, but you get little things here and there, like this line passing through the other line. That's a nice little touch, little handmade touch. Again, not handmade like Handmaid's Tale, but handmade like as in handcrafted. Oh, handcrafted, that just made me think of Culver's, and I am so hungry. But we are trying to stick to a diet. We're trying not to eat after a certain time of night. So I have this big old thing of water here. Excuse me. Alright. These little parts here. Once I get all these guys, all of this main flat color on, I'll start to get the other variations in color on. It'll just go quicker and quicker the more I get done. Of course, that should be obvious. Huh. Family is getting into woodworking. Recently bought a used scroll saw on Marketplace, and we've been learning that. The very first thing my son cut out was the shape of Wisconsin. Oh man. Oh, I suppose I should do the water too that's down there. Here we go. Getting it done. This is going pretty quick, actually, comparatively compared to other ones where I get bogged down in the detail. You know, like I was talking about before. You get bogged down in the detail, it starts to get messy. Next thing you know, you're hitting your head against the keyboard because you've added too much detail and now you have to simplify it. And you should have started off simplified. It's always best to keep it simple, as my as my drawing professor always told me. My drawing professor always gave me the advice to keep it simple, stupid. That's what he would say. And then he'd come up behind you, whack you upside the head and say, "You're doing it wrong." Or he'd like take your drawing from you and start drawing on it. That just gave some of you artists anxiety, I bet. It didn't bother me at all, because one thing he beat into us. No, he didn't beat us, really. Ingrained into our minds is that, well, at least my mind, I don't know if anybody else was listening, but one thing that I learned from my art professor was that these drawings that we're doing in class are not masterpieces, and that we are there to learn, and we learn best from our mistakes. So that was the lesson that I learned in my drawing classes in college. Don't take yourself too seriously, and don't consider yourself a master when you're still learning. I am always learning still. I like to watch drawing videos and tutorials on how to do different techniques and things like that. And always practicing on drawing people and objects and things. Never think of yourself as having arrived, because there's always something more to learn. And that kind of stifles your ability to learn. Because if you don't consider education something that is ongoing, kind of like sanctification. It's like you're always learning. You're always going to learn new techniques. You're always going to have an epiphany about something. Hair. Get in a little closer here, and then we can get some of this finer detail. Man, I have such a tickle in my throat. I do not want to be sick, but here we are. There we are. That reminds me of the Wing Feather Saga. There we are. Funniest thing about Wing Feather Saga is the end notes and things like that. What? Oh boy. First time chat. That's so funny. I'm getting spammed by something. It's probably a bot or something. I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch right now. I've had a Twitch channel for a long time, but I just don't use it very much. It's under Paul Cox Draws. What's up? Yeah. No. I'm still live.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
What?
Getting spammed in my comments, in my chat.
Huh.
Hey,
That's kind of fun.
we can help you grow your channel.
Well,
How's it going?
good. I have some questions.
Do you want me to go off live? Yes.
Well, it's about what to eat tomorrow and what you would eat if you had a root canal. If we need to bring a meal to somebody.
I don't know that I would be eating anything.
I'm just trying to think if there's something we should do. Could do or whatever. How's it going in here? Well, just think with me through tomorrow.
Yep.
Or sometime let me know.
Yeah, I mean, ice cream. That means we could get ice cream for ourselves. I'm just saying, you know.
Do you really want that?
I do.
You do?
My throat hurts. I need ice cream. Oh, man.
Really?
Yes.
you some tea.
Mm. That's not ice cream.
Oh, I don't want ice cream. I want custard.
Oh, custard, yes. That would be delicious. You know just the place to get it, too.